or like just one, like for me to do it every time, and then that way it's just taken care of.
Yeah, well, I feel bad because I want to help you out, but I'm like, I don't know technology and stuff.
Yeah, cute cat, Tegan.
Thanks. I'm at my mom's. She's just gonna do this the entire time.
It's okay. Mine's like all over my materials right now, so it's
that's so cute.
Okay. Do you want me to teach first, Jade, or do you want to?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, I need to find the volume. Yeah, I'm listening though.
Okay. So I'm doing the same lesson that I did last time. There's not a whole bunch of tweaks, but a few things are different. So I'm gonna kind of go quickly because I don't want to put you through the same lesson that we already did once.
Yeah, mine is the same.
So for the I would first model with the students and have them do the nail polish. So I have the story on the board again, and hold on. Okay, so I would read it aloud, and so it says Allison has 3 bottles of nail polish. Ashley gave her 2 more for her birthday. How many bottles of nail polish does Allison have? And then I have the props, and I would have 2 students act it out, and one be Allison and one be Ashley, and hand them over and count up how many we had. So that's the first means of representation. And then the second would be the Cuisenaire rods from 157. So I would lay them out and say, if Allison has 2 bottles of nail polish, and then Ashley gives her 3 more, count up and see that she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles of nail polish. And then the last way I would do it is just like the classic. You pull from the story. So we go through and circle and see that we know our number words, and Allison has 3, and then Ashley gives her 2 more. So then we know that it's going to be 3 plus 2, and because we've been working on addition, my second graders all know that 3 plus 2 is 5. And then something that I added, so I'm using for my lesson plan if I had a student who had a specific learning disability. So for the We Do, they have access to all the different modes that I just modeled, and they're working with their table partners. But instead of a classic worksheet for students who have a specific learning disability, such as like dyslexia and have a really hard time reading, I actually made like comic strip story problems.
Oh.
So they're the exact same as the story. You can see that like there's 3 bottles of nail polish, and then like one girl gives the other one 2, and then we have to add them up. And I made like a frame for them to fill the numbers in, and all 4 of the problems are identical to the problems on the original worksheet, just with that comic strip to give them the visual instead of having to decode a sentence in order to do the problem.
I like that.
And so I would have them all share, like work together, and then have like different people share one of the problems and show the class how they worked out the problem. And ideally, like one of each group like would have done it a different way so that the class will see all the different ways again instead of just like one way or a couple of them. And then for I Do, it would be the same, but they would be expected to work independently, either acting it out or working out with the rods or with their worksheets again, or the sentence. And I think that I would probably like give them a choice of if they wanted to do, like students with a learning disability, if they wanted to do the comic strip or if they wanted to try to tackle the sentences, like I would read them aloud and encourage them that way if they didn't want to do like the alternate thing. And then for my formative assessment last time, I said that I would just ask them what they'd learned, but just like through reflection and Shannon's comments, I realized that I wouldn't get like a really like concrete idea of if they understood the concept fully or not. So I decided to actually make an exit ticket. And once again, I have like a comic strip version, and then one just has like a word problem on it. And so it says, Thomas had 2 toy cars. His older brother gave him 6 more. How many cars does Thomas have? And so then the comic strip is the exact same problem, just in pictures. And I would have students either work that out with the rods or with an equation, or if a student wanted to like verbally tell me instead of write it, we could do that really quickly. I like that was Tegan's idea last time, but I think that's a really good way to give students the option of just explaining to you what they understand instead of making them always write it. That's all.
Yay, I like that.
Thank you.
I like that a lot. The comic strip idea, like literally my thing right now, because like thinking about like, okay, how am I going to incorporate like a specific like learning disabilities in my lesson plan? Like that's brilliant. Like instead of like, because that's literally taking the exact same material of like, here's this word problem and just putting it into pictures, which could completely change whether a student understands the concept or not. Like simply just tweaking it like that and giving it to them in a visual form instead of word form. Like for a kid that like their barrier is reading, like that could mean the difference between them understanding math and not understanding it.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking, like content area literacy this semester at 440. And we were talking about how like not being able to like really like comprehend reading can impact like so many subjects. And so I wanted to do something like, especially because that's like the biggest disability category, like something that separates like reading from math. And so that's when I came up with it.
That's unique. I have never really thought of math story problem like that. I mean, I knew the teacher came to me and like highlighted what we're doing now, you know, circling numbers, highlighting and that. I never had comic strip. That's really unique. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I feel like other kids that like even don't have trouble reading would definitely want to use the comic strips.
Yeah, that's what, like I wanted to give them a choice because it's the same content. So like it really doesn't matter to me which way they want to do it, just as long as they're doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it just gives them the option to, if they understand it better this way, may as well do it that way. Like there's no reason to have to be able to read it in words if you can read it in pictures and understand it the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
I can hear you laughing at me, Mom.
Love it.
I know. I was like, we're doing like Google Hangout lesson plans, so she's just gonna casually listen in.
That's
When
funny.
Mom, professor. Yeesh.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so are you guys ready for my lesson plan, I guess?
Yes.
So it's pretty much the same, but I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna teach it through because I did add a little bit more. And so for me, it would be better for me to kind of go through it with you guys. So I'm gonna start by moving, oopsie, I don't wanna break the school. Oh my. Yeah, let's see if this works. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, can you guys all see me if I stand right here? You good? Okay, so welcome to my lesson plan. Today we are going to do fractions, but equal as a whole. So throughout, you know, daily lives, we use pies, we cut pizza, we cut food up. And so now we're going more in depth and we're going to use that in math. So for fractions, I'm going to do a simple one, just do it normally, is a fraction, we're doing addition of a fraction equals a whole. So for example, can you guys see that at all? Sorry, side note. Oh, is that?
Yeah, I can see it.
You sure? Can you guys all see that?
Not right now.
No, okay, let me do a different marker. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine.
In addition, so for example, I'm gonna have just leave it blank. I'm gonna have this kind of as a review that kind of looks like. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
It might be backwards. Equals 1. Okay. So since this is a simple one, for example, I'm gonna put in an equation for 1/2. So if I have 1/2, and I'm going to plus it, addition, and then 1/2 it, I will, and before we move on, then the denominator, which is right here, or numbers, are not going to change at all. So we're not going to do like a 2 + 2 = 4. It's always going to be the same. when we do as a whole number. So the denominator will always stay the same number. So that's going to be a 2. So then, Tegan, what is 1 plus 1?
2.
Okay, so I'm going to put a 2 here. So this is going to be 1 plus 1 is a 2. So 2 over 2 could be 2 over 2, which is also the name could be as a whole. I'm going to put or 1. So let's do another example. I'm going to do now 1/4. And let's see here. So I'm going to write 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. So we're leaving, another example, we're leaving all the bottom pieces, all the bottom numbers the same. So could you please add the top numbers, Allison? 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.
That's 4.
4. So I'll put 4 right here. Or 4 over 4 is still a whole, but we can also write it also as a 1. So I have different activities for you guys that I set up. I have a pie puzzle, I call it. I have worksheets, and then I have brownies. So brownies is going to be, you're going to get a rectangle brownie, so I can show it to you. So you're going to have with your names on them, so don't eat more brownies than another person. So each plate is going to have a brownie that's in a square. I'll be sitting there at the table asking you questions about the brownies. I'm going to have plastic knives, and you guys are going to cut them. So I'm going to explain that later. So before we get too ahead, I would like to do an example of each table that I have for you guys for fractions. So let's start off with the pie puzzle. So I have here a circle. It's a plain circle. But then I have also colored in different fractions. So I colored in a half, which is a half a pie. And if we split that 1/2 into another half is 1/4. Oops, sorry. And then so on and so forth. But I would like, though, that, does anybody have a paper and scissors with them? Could Tegan, if you don't mind, do an example for this table exercise? So I would like, please, you to grab your paper and cut out a circle for me, please.
That's risky.
Here, I pretend.
Does mom know how big it is?
Yes, just cut a normal circle. It doesn't matter what size of something, just cut out a circle.
This is about to be the ugliest circle. It's more like an egg, but
That's
we have
okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So before we go on, so I'm gonna do an example of 1/2. So I did a circle here. I'm gonna cut my circle in half, which then will equal like this. So I have 2 pieces. Oh, 2 pieces. And I want to label them 1/2 and 1/2. And so with this circle, I'm going to have you cut your circle in half and label 1/2 and 1/2. Tegan, if you don't mind, please. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to grab, if you don't mind, Tegan, another piece of paper, which is blank. So since we have 1/2 and 1/2, I'm going to place the 1/2 down on the table. But then when you do it, I want you to write, sorry, I want to use this marker. I want you to write on the piece of paper 1/2, since you put it on the table already. And just to let you know, side note, that this circle that I'm going to have on my table has Velcro on it. So it's kind of like a puzzle. When they come to the table, they will have pieces. And so when the children put down the piece of a half onto it, then they will, on a separate piece of paper, which I'm going to have Tegan do, I want you to write 1/2, since you put 1/2 already down. And then I want you to please
set my 1/2 down onto the And then what?
Oh, so I want you to write 1/2 down on a blank piece of paper.
Just anywhere?
Yes, anywhere on a blank piece of paper.
Okay.
So since now I know that you put 1/2 down on, like, you know, like a puzzle on the circle. Now I want you to, since we're doing addition, I want you to add, put an addition sign to it. And how many 1/2 equals a whole, Tegan? How many pieces do we need to fill in the circle that equals a whole?
2.
Okay, so then I would like you to please put the other 1/2 on the circle and write down on your blank piece of paper another 1/2. And so then, oh, sorry, and then I want you to put down, since you put down the other 1/2 on the circle, I want you to write on your piece of paper the other 1/2 with the addition sign.
Okay.
Okay, so now we will equal it. So Tia, what is 1/2 plus 1/2?
Either 2 halves or 1.
2 halves or 1. Okay, thank you for doing that. So that's the pi puzzle. And so I have certain ones. I have 1/8 pieces here that they can do that I colored in with 1/8 on it. So each time a child lays down a piece on the puzzle, they write down the 1/8. So then they can know and visualize, okay, I have 1/8, that's one of them. Okay, now how many 1/8 can I put on the pie? Oh wait, I need another one. So that's another 1/8. And you keep going just like this, add 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Then they can look at the puzzle and be like, okay, how many 1/8 fill up the pie? And they can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's my pie. So I would like, please, Allison, I want to do the worksheets now. I have 2 different types of worksheets. The first one, I will do an example first, if you don't mind. So we're going to do 1/2 again. So I will say, let's see here, I will have missing numbers. So the first beginning, I will always have the numbers most of the time filled out for you, so you know what fraction we're dealing with. So I have 1/2 plus, I'm going to miss the bottom number, but I'm going to have the numerator as a 1 equals a whole or 2 over 2. So which number, Allison, am I missing on the bottom of the, you see?
It has to be 2.
It has to be 2. Correct. Thank you. Okay. So now let's jump toward a more higher problem, which would be 1/4 now, Allison. So I want to do 3 different numbers that will be missing. So let's see. Let me erase this. And I'm going to write, okay, so we have 1/4 plus blank over 4 plus 1/4 plus a blank over a 4 equals 1 or 4 over 4. So I have, first of all, 1/4 filled out. So Allison, for this one right here, what am I missing on the top?
A 1.
A 1, correct. Now, since I have this filled out 1/4, what is missing from the last set right here? I have a top one and a bottom missing.
Well, I see that we have 3 1/4, and I know it takes 4 to make a whole, so it must be another 1/4.
Okay, perfect. So we fill in 1/4. And that equals correct. A whole or a 4 or 4. Correct. So I will have this. This is one worksheet I'll have for the children. And then another one I'm going to do, Allison, if you don't mind still volunteering. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I'm going to have, since we did circles, I'm going to have another circle activity for them as fractions. So let me do another example with 1/2. So let's see, I drew a circle on a piece of paper. And it says color 1/2 of the circle. So I'm going to grab a different marker. And this is where your coloring pencils can come in. And I'm going to draw, so she wanted me to draw 1/2 of a circle. So I'm going to split the circle in half. And I'm going to color one side of the circle. And it's showing me that I know 1/2 of the circle. So that's the 1/2. So Allison, could you please draw me a circle? Choose whatever color pencils you want, pencil color you want. And could you draw me color in 1/4 of the circle?
Yes.
Okay. Let me draw my circle myself.
Okay. I made a circle and I cut it into 4 equal pieces and I colored in one of the 4 pieces to show 1/4.
Okay, thank you. So I have that activity. So I have a color in a 1/2, 1/4, and 1/3. And so that's when the coloring pencils can come in and they can color. So that's the worksheet. So the more, and I guess if people don't want to do the activity, they can come, and if they think they know in a faster pace that they can do this. So I have this, and my last one is brownies. So Katie, if you don't mind volunteering, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so for brownies, it's going to be a different shape though. So I changed it up. The shape is going to be a square, because I guess we can do circular brownies, but to be honest, I think it'd be easier to cook brownies and just cut it into a square. So I'm going to put how it is. I'm going to draw a plate. Just pretend it's a plate. Okay, and it's going to have your name, Katie. Katie, right? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm sorry. And then, okay, this is your brownie. Okay, so I'm going to ask on a sheet of paper. I don't have it right now. I don't know if you guys looked on it on Google Docs. But I do have a document kind of on the side. If people don't understand my words, they have a visual with a picture of a square, which is brownie. So I will ask, for example, let's do 1/2 again for me. So this is my brownie, Jade. Oops, I spelled my name wrong completely. Jade. And I have my brownie piece over here. And the instructions said, please cut the brownie in 1/2. Cut the brownie in 1/2. So I'm going to use the plastic knife that I prepared for them on the table. And they're going to ding, 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 cut the brownies in half. Okay, so how many brownies, since we cut it in half, do you have? How many 1/2s do you have? So they can write down, okay, I say I have one piece right here. This is 1/2. And then I have another 1/2. So I have 2 1/2 of a brownie. So now for Katie, well, let's go to 1/4. So do you have paper and pencil by chance?
Yeah, I can grab them.
Okay, if you don't mind, could you pretend that you have a brownie in front of you and you can draw a square for me, please?
And what did you want me to cut it into? 4s?
Yes, I would like you. So the instructions say, yes, please cut your brownies into 1/4. Yeah, oh yeah. So, perfect. Okay, so, and you kind of overhead, I was going to say, now you can eat 1/4 of your brownie, and since you colored it in already, I can just pretend that you ate that piece. So now you understand that. So you have 4 pieces of brownies, and I asked you, okay, since now you're doing very well, and you're hungry, I can ask you, okay, now you can eat 1/4 of your brownie. So you can erase it, and you can have 1/4 of your brownie. Ta-da! So that's what I did. So that's the brownie activity. Each kid will get a brownie. I'm not leaving it. So if a kid doesn't want to do the activity when the activities are ended, then I have a brownie plate for them. And that could be also for my exit ticket out. I will ask the children, they can do I prepare them with small whiteboards. Okay, maybe I should use this one. Small whiteboards that they come up and write down a fraction that we did in class together, or a fraction that they came up with that can, what do you call it, and manipulate into a whole. So they can do, like, for example, I would like to, if I understand, I can do 1/2. So 1/2 plus 1/2 equals a whole. Or if the child would like, oh, I can do, you know, let's see, what was it? Sorry, hold on. I can do you guys know any fractions that can be in a whole besides 1/4 and 1/2?
1/3.
Sorry, say again, sir?
1/3.
So yeah, so if you do 1/3, then you can split that up and use that as you take it, write it down, process, like kind of like process it all out. So 1/3, you said 1/3. So you can do 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 equals a whole, or 3/3. So a student will do that and then put it on their table, and then they can leave. Or they can write it down on a piece of paper. Or since if maybe some of the students didn't do the Brownie activity, then they can come to me and do the Brownie activity. And so that's their ticket out. But that's all.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, and but that's all. The end.
Nice job. Those are super good activities.
Yeah, I really liked how you included like the manipulative aspects and like the Brownie. Every kid's gonna want to do the Brownie one.
I know, of course, right? I gotta treat them somehow. But yeah, I tried.
Yeah, I like that they can. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can go. Sorry.
I like that they can use the activity to show that they understand the concept. Like, it gives them multiple different ways to represent and like express that I understand this material, but I just understood it best in this activity that we use. Like, I like that they're given the opportunity to, because I know, like, at least like for my exit ticket, like it was like do the problem, but like I like that you pretty much said, okay, you can kind of do whatever you want to show me that you understand, and if that's doing one of the activities again but in front of me, that's totally fine. And I like that. I think that's cool, especially for kids that are a lot more like kinesthetic learners. Like, I know that I forget to remember that people learn that way because I don't learn that way. And so I think that you really like saw that and leaned towards that, and I like that.
Thank you. Nice. Okay. Well, guess for next week it is.
Nice. You guys killed it. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Really good.
It's so weird to not have like something else to talk about. I'm like, okay, what's next?
So
It was weird, like not reading anything this week. I was like, I feel behind.
Will we do this though till next semester? Like have another lesson plan that we teach?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Oh wait.
I think that we have like readings and like what we were doing before, like the notes and the discussion for the next few weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
After next week, because Katie and Tegan will teach next week.
That's what I meant after the midterm. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. It's gonna get wild. Cool. Well, you guys did a killer job.
Yeah.
I think that you guys both like really brought more UDL guideline stuff in with the multiple means of engagement and representation, and I think you guys definitely improved yours. Like, you found ways, like you got like your lesson plans I thought were really good before, and you both found ways to make them even better, and so props to you. They were both really good.
Thank you. I think it's cool that she had us like, instead of writing another lesson plan, like go back and make the first one better, because I think like overall you end up with a much better lesson plan than like 2 mediocre ones.
Yeah.
And it does make you think more, because I had to think for a while what I should do. I mean, because I did this at my CSI. I went to CSI for a semester, for a year, and I was in their early childhood program. And so I had to do their teaching, but I had to do also like this a lesson plan for kids that are, I think they are 3, 4-year-olds. And so I had to have, manipulatives, math, like I kind of did that before, manipulative math, science, art, all that stuff. So I kind of had that, but this is kind of different because these are 4th graders. So they're more advanced, but then you can't say that they're all advanced in math. Not you assume that you get it. So
Yeah.
But it's an interesting process. I like UDO. It's fun.
Wow. Thanks for your feedback, guys.
Yeah, you guys killed it. Awesome. Well, I will see you all next week.
Yeah, have a good week.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.